Can you see the video now?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, so um, it reflects on what we discussed yesterday on food safety, about how we should prepare ourselves now before um, the flattening curve of this COVID-19, because many of the consumers will now be more food safety conscious because of the widespread and contamination of this disease that is spreading like wildfire. So now we're going to be discussing on how we're going to be targeting um, our customers or our buyers in terms of what we are going to be delivering, what we produce. So some people have different kind of method of consumer targeting, but I'm going to be using what we call in economics the 4 Ws. And the 4 Ws, one of the W is who. If you have a product, once as a producer, you have a product to, you've done your feasibility studies, you've done all your business plan, your financial plan. In all this, you should have embedded in it a target audience that you're going to be delivering your product to. So one important thing is that you should classify that into these 4 Ws. The 4 Ws, one of the 4 Ws is who, the second one is what, the third one is where, that is how do you find them, and the fourth one will be what do you want to offer, as in how best, what is your unique selling point, you understand? So now the we yesterday we talked about the global world, the food waste, and we asked the question that do we really have a global food shortage, or do we really need to produce more to feed the nation, to feed the globe right now? And I came to a conclusion with all the documentation and research that with the present population that we have, what we need to do is to reduce the food waste, which means that there's a lot of food to go around, but the food waste is even more than what we produce. You understand? So you will, once you're targeting your customer, you see that the important thing is that okay, you want to be known to your customers, and what is the actual need? How do you want to serve them? How do you want to help them? There are different customer segmentation in the globe right now. There are some people looking for the value. There are some people looking for the affordability, and there are some people looking for just the basic. And when you classify this, the basic, people just want to feed as long as it's food. You understand? So the basic, some people want to just do the basic and consume the basic. And this happens especially in the rural settlements. All they believe or all they want is to feed. They don't understand the nutritional value of what you're serving or how you even deliver the goods. And that is why you see that most times, because most of the smallhold farmers, the way they handle their food from the farmer to the market, it doesn't augur well with the middle class or the city like distribution consumption. So if you are having a product that you know that this product is for the masses, that doesn't stop you from protecting or for putting in place food safety. All what you just need to do is have a basic food safety that is not going to be as expensive as when you are delivering to the middle class or the high class, the premium class of the society. So if you are targeting the middle class, you will know that it means that the level of your food safety has to step up because they are very conscious of where or who is bringing these products to their doorstep. And if you are going to the high class, it means that these high class people, the way you are going to present your product will be more classical. And so that defines how your who is going to be. So once your product is being ascertained, you have to look at your product. For example, I'll give you an instance now. I have one of a food supplier here in Nigeria. She produces, she started as a farmer, a cassava farmer, and she produces gari. We all know that gari is made from cassava, and gari is a very common stable food in Nigeria and in most African countries, especially West Africa. And if you are drinking gari, or if you are someone that takes that food product, you are classified as though that uh, a person from maybe the masses, the low class pyramid. You understand? There are some people that consume gari in a different way. This lady started as a farmer and she started producing gari. From producing gari, she now started adding more value to this gari. What did she do? She started adding some other um, ingredients. For example, she added gari with tiger nuts,
Let me know when you want to leave,
gari
okay?
with coconut, gari with um, cashew, cashew nuts, blended. So you now look at it, you see that this she has added a value to these masses products. You understand? And since she has added a value, it means that it's going to add to the cost of this product because normally gari is a very affordable commodity in the society. You understand me? Amongst Nigerians and African low class consumers. So because she has added these tiger nuts, she mixes it with it and these premium products into it because to add nutritional value to it. it means she has to target the upper class or the middle class or the upper class, because the product is no more a masses product. So which means if she's going to do her target audience, if she's going to target who she's going to be marketing to, it will be those in the middle class and the upper class, because she has added a value that makes that masses product unique. You understand? So if you are producing as a food producer or food supplier or even a farmer, as a farmer, there are some products that are premium. If you are farming like strawberry, you are farming like garbage. It's not something that you just see, or it's just something that everybody consumes. Or you are farming like turmeric. You understand? So you have to define who you want to serve so that you don't fall into the trap of loss. So once you be able to define and you will to know that there's a market for this product, then you can now start plowing back. So it goes after the who, then you look at the what. You understand? Which is what we're talking about now. You know you've identified the market, that okay, this is the market I want to dive into. Now, why are you diving into this market? What problem are you trying to solve? You understand? Is it the nutritional value? Is it just to be affordable and competitive? Is it how you present your food products? You want to be different from how they normally do it? Because right now in Nigeria, it's like, okay, this same Gary instance of Gary, before now, Gary is always sold in the local market, where you just go to the local bulk market and they buy it and package it inside a nylon, a polythene bag, or a plastic bag. But now, because of the diversification of the economy, you understand, and encouraging agro allied to be able to add value to many of these commodities, many of these farm products. They now have packaged Gary. So you see a lot of people doing packaged Gary, but because they've been able to add value on how they package the Gary, you can't compare the pricing of a packaged Gary with the local market Gary. You understand me? So if you are delivering that packaged Gary, you know who you are delivering to. You want to be unique. You want to be different from how they do. And this is where food safety comes in, because the packaging, how you package your products, is very, very important. Once you are able to target your who, it is your who that will determine how your packaging is going to look like. If your who is a mass market, then your packaging shouldn't be an elite packaging, because you are already incurring costs. What am I saying is that you are diving into a mass market. Your packaging and your strategy should be for mass, not individual. If you are diving into an elite or a classical market, middle class market, then you can either do individual packaging, which is okay, someone can have it for home use or for medium class use. At the home, a family can have a bag 50 kg, 20, no, not 50 kg, like 10 kg, 1 kg. You understand me? But if you are going to do for mass, then you're looking at a big packaging. So after you identify your who, then you know, okay, this is the packaging I'm going to use to deliver this product. Because once you are able to identify the problem, this is where one of the important things, the packaging is going to be key as a producer in delivering your products. So once you're able to do this, you've identified your market space, you've identified the packaging and what the problem is, then you go to your where. Now, your where is in the who, where what we discussed about the who. Your where is okay. Now, um, I'm located in, let's say, Ghana, Accra, Ghana. I'm producing in Accra, Ghana, and my product is for some classical consumer. If I'm producing, for instance, cashew nuts, spiced with maybe honey or spiced with ginger, to make it different from the normal cashew, then, and I'm producing from Ghana, and my target audience is the middle class, then you ask yourself, from my location, my factory where I am producing, the best way to start is to do a radius. You map out a radius from your location and see, you circle a radius and see how you can capture from your immediate market. It is from your immediate, it's from your immediate market you are able to scale to the next or to expand. So that your where is saying, I am here and I am targeting the middle class in Ghana, but I'm starting from this location, this city. Okay, maybe even your farm is in a rural area. I'm sure one in the rural settlement where you are producing from, there are some city or some little outskirts of town in those rural areas that you have middle class. Now, once you are able to target these locations around this place, then what do is you design a marketing strategy. Once you are able to target and map out that, okay, this is what I want to, this is the location I want to operate from. It is the location you are operating from that you will be able to determine how profitable and how you can scale. You understand? Now, let's flip a little to the more reason why we need to focus on the food waste is because in the production, there's a lot that goes into the production before you get a finished product. But once you are able to identify and utilize your waste even from ground zero, it makes your business profitable than others that just produce to consumer. What am I saying in the instance is that when as a producer or a food supplier, you should design an integrated food system whereby you don't leave any stone untouched. Right from your business plan, your feasibility studies, everything has to be identified. The instance is, let me give you an instance now. Okay, now if I'm producing, just like I was saying, I'm producing cashew, and I've identified the season, the timing on when the cashew season is being harvested. At that time, I need raw materials to produce over a year before the next season. You have to have identified your customers, the who. If we are going to be distributing to like 100 customers or 1,000 customers annually, now you know your margin, how much is going to cost you to be able to serve these customers over a year. And once you are able to achieve that, then you look at this product. If I'm not able to even meet up these customers at the end of the day, can I still achieve some other things from this product? And this is where how you are able to reduce food waste, because you are not only producing for customers but utilizing that product to the various minimum. If as a cashew producer, you should know all the derivative from cashew and who needs this derivative. One is, you will know that apart from producing the nuts, the shell, what is the shell, what can I derive, or how can I sell out the shell? Can it be of value addition to the operation of my production line? Is it something I can sell to earn income revenue from? You understand? So these are the things, these are the way we agripreneurs and food suppliers, food producers should be thinking in terms of integration, so that we don't join the bandwagon of just producing and earning from just, the products, the first product. So we have to look at the derivative from each of these products. If I'm producing fruit juice, we know fruit is a very perishable commodity. And I know that if I don't sell this thing on time or deliver these products on time, then it goes to waste. What can I use? What can I generate out of this fruit waste? There are ways of integrating the food waste in every product into your business, so that you can merge your competitor or also be sustainable. Because look at this map now. This is, if you look at it, this is, they say which region waste food most. And if you look at it, this light blue talks about the production to retail, and this is the consumption. Production, consumption. In Europe, this is the amount they produce. And look at the consumption. This is the amount they produce in North America. And look at the consumption. The same thing in industrial Asia. The same thing, look at Africa. You can see that out of all the advanced countries here, out of all the advanced continents here, Africa is even the least in terms of consumption. And this is why we have poverty in our continent, because we produce so much, which I gave instance yesterday. Nigeria is the largest producer of so many things. And all at the end of it, we are still the poverty capital, of the world, because we are not adding value to most of our food products. We are not structuring the distribution network. We are not putting food safety in place. We are not doing the right thing. We are just doing the old traditional thing, and population is exploding every year in, year out. So look at North African, West Africa, South, Central Asia, the same thing. So if you sum up this with the production in each of these continents, you agree with me that we have enough food to be able to go around. But what is happening is how it's being structured and how we waste, we don't add value to most of these commodities. So this is um, our target in One Agri's, some of the target areas that we are targeting: China, Pakistan, for the buyers, Philippines, in terms of consumption. So on our platform, we have different segments and different markets. So this market I'm showing you here is the halal market for China, Pakistan, and Philippines. So if you look at it, this is the population. So the where, okay, this is the population, okay. let me see if I can serve maybe 100 um, Muslims in China for my product, or maybe 1,000 Muslims in Pakistan. So this is how you target your customers in terms of getting value for your products. The fourth and the last question you ask yourself, which is the second what do we give back? I always encourage most of the food producers or the food agripreneurs that we need to have more social impact, more social entrepreneurs in the world. When I mean social entrepreneurs, I mean those that give back. It is from you giving back, you know, that you are able to plug in and create a sustainable economy. Now you ask yourself, what are you giving back to the society? And what can you give that is free? Because as a business owner, one of the most important things is you want to make money, which is profit. But you ask yourself, even if I'm losing, what can I give? And what is for a look at the globe today. A lot of billionaires in Africa, in Europe, in US are donating. Why didn't they keep all their money that they have and fold their hands and leave everybody to go off the surface of the earth? Because they are doing business to what? To make profit. And because those they are doing business with is the population. So it is very important that no matter how capitalist you are, or no matter how business oriented you have to have that side that you are able to offer freebies. So it is in your business model. If you have this, it's something that once you are going down, you can easily come back to for emotional will I say emotional sympathy. Because once the populace, the consumer, see that, oh, this person is doing this, they will be able to get attached to you and to be able to believe in your cause. So we as entrepreneurs, as food producers, should have a cause in terms of what we are delivering to the customers and what we are giving back to the community where we serve. No matter how much money we're making in the environment where we produce or where we are making money, we should set aside a kind of um, social program or or philanthropic program or charity. It could be annual, it could be monthly, it could be occasional, it could be even seasonal when you know that, okay, there's going to be a glut this season for, let's say, um, catfish. I'm producing catfish and I know that there's going to be a glut. And I know that if I'm able to mop up and supply, I can make a good margin. From this margin, how much can I give out? So you'll be able to plow back, okay, I can give out 5,000 naira every month. Okay, you calculate this and you say, okay, let me use this 5,000 naira to package fish products. Maybe it's smoked catfish or is fresh one, you know, and see how I can deliver maybe to the elderly or to the children in schools, or it could even be discounts to your loyal customer. So these are what some of the important way of targeting our consumers, of targeting the place where we want to operate and able to scale. So I will um, pause for a while to for questions before we go to the next phase. So any question regarding what I've been discussing so far? If you have any question, if you have any question, I'm open to question now before we move to the second phase, which is distribution. Okay, so if there's no question, the second phase is about distribution. Since we've talked about the consumer and how we have to target our consumer. Now, the distribution. When you talk about distribution, you talk about, first of all, if after distribution and something goes wrong, how is it possible to trace my step back? And this brings us to the issue of traceability. So in the distribution or the supply chain, you need to first look at, map out your traceability strategy. How do you trace your step back to what happened? You delivered some basket of cucumber um, to Spa shopping mall, and at the end of the day, after 3 months of your supply, got a call from the procurement manager saying that some of the cucumber got bad and they saw some ants in it and stuff like that. And then you now start asking. Now let us look at this map, these products. Traceability is one of the in thing now, and this is in fact going to be one of the key words in food supply chain in the next decade. You look at this salad. This salad is produced in the UAE. This presentation, I took this slide, this caption from last year food summit, the UAE food summit. And they did an amazing presentation, and I saw this and I said I'm going to use it someday, sometime. And now, if you look at this food, this salad, every item in this salad came from somewhere. So before, it means the consumer that consumes salad in UAE eats from different location. Here is cucumber coming from the US, cucumber. Here is lettuce coming from the US. Here is, let me look at the one I can. This is tomato, the same thing from the US. This is onions, you understand? This is sprouts, like that. So they say the well-traveled salad. So this brings us to what we eat as a traveler, as a consumer. We should know that what we eat is not what we farm. It is something that comes from somewhere, from a farm somewhere. So most of our food products come from somewhere, comes from one farm, comes from one factory before it lands to our table. And if the food safety in that um, farm or factory is not well protected or is not well structured, then it means that whatever we are consuming won't be healthy. And once it's not healthy, then it means the person producing will go out of business. So food traceability is the ability to track your food back to the producer. And it is very key in the distribution supply chain. So the second one is the food quality and quantity. You know, man, today because of the population explosion and the demand in different customer segments, you see a lot of pressure and a lot of uh, hype about production. Many companies want to produce, they want to be the best, they want to be known for some certain products. You understand? But there are some challenges in trying to scale up and trying to meet large consumer base. And one of the challenges, it differs from different regions. In one of the big challenges that is even most that is constant in many developing countries is poor storage. There's issue of power, there's issue of poor storage, there's high cost of transportation because of bad road, you understand? There's also industrial sabotage. Even within the industry, someone is trying to sabotage your effort. Also, the issue of climate change, which is something that is affecting everyone. So you factor all this into your distribution and to be able to map out the best way to be able to deliver your goods at the appropriate time. Once you are able to ascertain your quality, food quality and quantity, at the time you are delivering, the timing, you should have a template on how to cut costs on your energy and how to prevent delays in transportation, delivery, and also a legal framework on if you have um, a conflict between either any of your suppliers or your business partners. Because this will slow down the production, this will slow down the delivery of your products. So on one agrics platform, which we are using a digital platform to track most of the products down to the consumer, it's a good thing that once you upload your product on the platform, you have a dashboard that you can use to check your sales, check the movement of either your money, which is through escrow, whether your shipment, if you are exporting through um, Fristo, you understand, and check your work cash flow through our platform. I think your sales cash flow through our platform. This gives you a digital accountability and digital transparency. on how to deliver food products. So you can focus more on production, more on food safety, and just come online and put um, your details. Either you edit your details, you update. It's just going to be most of updates. Once you have signed up on the platform and it is there live, all you just need to do is update based on what you have been doing on the field. You understand? So it is very key in the distribution network, especially now that digitalization is going to be very fast and very, very enabling to food delivery. So if you are not uh, digital in your production or in your supply chain, then you'll be lacking, especially if you are trying to deliver in large quantity, because you have to be able to synchronize live data with what you are doing on the field. So communication gap is another important thing as a food supplier, as a food producer. You should be able to bridge the gap between all the players, between all the people that supply or that work with you, between you and your buyer. The communication gap, you shouldn't have a very huge communication gap, because once the communication gap is broken, then you are giving room for loopholes, and you are giving room for suspicion, you are giving room for different lapses. An instance is, I think, I don't know if it's last year or the year before. You know, the in thing about trying to introduce lab um, beef, lab-based beef. And I think one of these companies in Europe, I think, had a problem in one of their introduction, which was a food poisoning or something like that of their products, and they were able, but they couldn't solve that communication when it went viral to the media. You know, when we are in a social media or a digital world. Once you do something wrong, someone is there ready to post or ready to attack you. And this is why we have to be very, very, very careful. The communication gap between we and our suppliers, or we and the consumer, has to be often, so that once there is a mistake somewhere, you are able to resolve or engage and rectify the problem right from when it's being broadcast, so that it doesn't go bad. So communication gap is very key, because in the food supply it is fragmented. You know, everybody wants to take advantage of the other person. But once you are playing in a very good, you've done your assignment, or you've done your business plan, and you've done how you're going to play in your own space. You know who you are dealing with, and you even know those that are going to even try to attack or try to um, def- uh, defraud your integrity, you know. So these are one of the things we should play against in terms of distribution. Another thing is the running cost, which is very, very key. In every industry, every producer is always wanting to cut down the running cost of your production so that you don't run at a loss. And the best way is to have an integrated process, so you are able to reduce waste. Once you are able to do that, you will be able to compete anywhere. Once you are able to identify and reduce the waste in your production, in what you produce, no competitor will be able to, you know, sideline you. Example is what happened between Dangote noodles and Indomie in Nigeria here. Dangote is the richest African man, and Indomie has been in existence. They produce noodles. They've been in existence for quite a long time. But because you are the richest, doesn't mean that you can use your money to start what somebody has been doing in a long while. You understand? So Indomie has been playing in that space and has been very strategic in terms of marketing, in terms of engaging the consumer. And Indomie started by what? Targeting the children. The children, engaging them, doing a lot of um, sponsorship, which I told you about, what you give. You understand? What do you want to give? You understand? So they started with the children, but now Indomie is even an adult food in Nigeria. You understand? So they started with a call of the who do they want to target? It's everyone. They might want to target everyone, but they look at they streamline it to who do we want in case we are not able to capture the big pie. Who do we want to target? And they've been able to integrate the whole system and to understand. And you see, your running costs start from your source, where you get your raw material. Where you get your raw material from mustn't be too far from your production line. And also, you shouldn't be too far from your what? From your market where you distribute. And that is why you see in many economy, you have the commercial economy and you have the political economy. The commercial is where they do the distribution, where you have, and we have the industrial. The industrial is close to where the raw material is. So the commercial is where you distribute your products. So as a producer, you should be able to understand these metrics and you should be able to understand that the source of your raw material is key. Likewise, your market. So where you want to locate your business, if you're a startup or if you are an existing business, if you are going to do a relocation to another place, or even if you want to upgrade, you can move. If you can't move and your raw material is far from you, then you should start thinking of what derivative, how can I reduce the waste from this product. But if you are close to your raw material, you have advantage of those that get their raw material far off because of cost of logistics of getting that product to their factory. So it depends on where you're operating from as a food supplier. So it's a very big problem, and this is where the major issue is for every producer. Your location, your operating location, is what is going to determine your running cost. And you can see what they said here. There's a defined trade-off between keeping customer happy, keeping inventory, and waste low, as in keeping the waste low. So how do you um, define, or how do you level and have an equilibrium in trying to satisfy all this? You understand? So this is very, very important in the distribution network, in your distribution plan. Your inventory also. Every product, yesterday we talked about food classification. Your food, whatever products you are producing as a food supplier, as a food producer, It is that product that will determine what kind of inventory management, because there are different kind of inventory management, inventory structure. You can't compare the inventory of perishable to inventory of grains, because inventory of grains, it has is a long shelf life, while inventory of perishable, like maybe even if it's livestock, it has to be frozen or fresh. If it's fruits, it has to be fresh or packaged. Even if it's packaged, it has to be delivered instant. So your inventory management is your product is going to determine what inventory you're going to you are going to design. So you have to look out for your inventory management once you are designed it, and who is going to manage it, because in your inventory management is where you have your stock, the stock of your product, and how your product moves from production to consumption. So if you produce large stock and it's just lying in your warehouse or your factory and it's not getting to the consumer, then you are losing. You are losing because we have what they call withholding costs. When your product supposed to be at the table of some people, is still in your factory. You should be asking yourself why. You understand? So these are some of the challenges. Some of the challenges in terms of inventory management is energy, manpower, logistics, and the technology you use to drive your inventory. And I've said that on our platform, you can use one aggregates to manage your inventory, because once you are updating frequently, you have to update as in maybe daily or weekly. Then you know that you have an inventory using our platform. You understand? In terms of manpower, it means you have to employ somebody. If it's physical inventory, if it's virtual inventory, you have to employ somebody to manage it. Then if it's moving out of the stock, you have to engage the partners that are going to be moving, that is the logistic partners that are going to be moving your goods from one point to the other. So sometimes many of the e-commerce, they outsource the logistics. They don't operate logistics. You understand? All they do is manage the flow of the customers, both from the buyer side and the supplier side. They outsource it and they give people that are reliable so that you can move your goods as I went due. You understand? So inventory management is a very important, key, important tool in distribution. So here I'm going to stop and give show you how South Korea has been able to reduce food waste in their economy from 2% to 95%. Okay, hold on a minute. Yes, well, um, since the I'll give room for questions while I try to upload the video. So I hope you can hear me. If you have questions regarding what we've been discussing so far, something went wrong here. Okay, what is escrow and no, it's traced. Okay, I will let us even talk about escrow. This is escrow. Let me show you escrow and also yes, you can register on one address before getting all certificates because we encourage you to register so that we can push you to get your certificate. If need be, any of the certificate, we share links where you can get some of the certificates, and we share resource on who is um, depending on which country you reside in, you're operating from. So this is escrow. Escrow, this is escrow. Escrow is a digital platform that is like, say, Alipay. You understand how Alipay works for Alibaba? So escrow does your payment. So you embed or how World Remit operates. So, but escrow is for big businesses. It's not for individual, so large transaction. Because in the banking, the financial institution, you have the retail, you have the corporate. So escrow is like for the big industries because you are going to be moving um, money in volumes, not bits. You understand? So once you register on one agrix, you embed your account. It will ask you some details. I'll have even showed you. to ask you some details on how to embed your bank details and stuff like that so that you can add your bank account to it. So once an importer wants to export, you are the one exporting, and once the importer wants to buy from you, then you can transact businesses online without going to the bank. For the only thing is you just notify the bank so that you can get returns from the government. Because if you are exporting from Nigeria, I'm operating in Nigeria. We're going to be, for those that are outside Nigeria, we advise you based on resource in different countries. So, for example, if you're exporting in Nigeria, you have to register and notify your bank that you have this transaction for export. So once you are on a platform and you have a contract to supply a commodity, and you've already notified your bank, because it's whatever money that is coming in is coming into your bank account. You've notified them, you've given them the contract letter and every other thing. They file it. So your buyer can move in money into your account. You understand? Because these are huge money. For example, if because you can see, so we've already plugged in the API of escrow into OneAgri. So it's a very simple and it's low um, commission, because in every online digital fintech, you get some kind of commission in the back end from whatever um, transaction you are doing. Just like we have FruitWave, we have Paystack here in Nigeria. You understand? So that's what escrow does. It operates as the backbone of OneAgri's payment, um, what they call it, provider. So, but Frestos, Freightos does the shipping. So for Freightos, what it does is that it's for the buyers. This is for the buyers, not for you. The payments is for both you and the buyer. But this also, you can also, but this one is mainly for the buyer, because once the cart on our platform and they want to ship to their country or to anywhere, they are able to track and pick logistics from this platform, you understand, to know the cost, how much it's going to cost them to be able to move your commodity from your country or from that location to their own point of um, to their own point of arrival. You understand? So this is also embedded on OneAgri. So this platform is all digital. You understand? These platforms are all digital to streamline and help all our food producers and food suppliers to reduce costs of engaging unreliable providers. You understand me? We have so many unreliable providers because most of what we are trying to do is try to onboard people that, that are verifiable and that have ethics in doing business. You understand? So what Freto is going to be doing, what it's doing is what is similar to what we are doing. All the only difference is that what they do is that they manage shipping lines online. So the shipping line register with them, with their cost and their everything, the container, the truck and everything. So we have the products. So once the product is taken from our own platform, the buyer now search for logistics that is going to take that product from this place to the other place. So he knows how much it's going to cost. So that's why we are going to be after this, we are going to have another section on pricing and some other things that relate to those that have signed up to the platform. You understand? So once you've signed up to the platform, we'll be guiding and educating ourselves on pricing and how to, you know, sign contracts with buyers. You know, so what sort of what's the name of the online platform? Do you mean our own online platform? The name of our online platform is One Agrix. This is it here. One Agrix. So if you want to register, all you do is you put your name and your email. You go to the next step. You understand, like that. Because I've registered before, then you put your company name. If you have a website, you put it here. You put your password, and you repeat the same password here and submit. But if you have any issues in doing this, because here all the words here has to be in small letter for it to move to the next step, for it to submit. But if you have any issue submitting or creating an account, then you have to give me, I'll write it here. You give me your company name and email, your company name, your full name and email. So we can create it from the back end and send the details to you so you can change your password. That is if you're having any difficulty here. So one agrees, I mean, no, they are not only for international suppliers, both for local. In fact, we are launching our local supply network next week. We are working on it. We are going to test run it this week. We are launching it next week. What we are trying to do for the local supply is to pair waste, the glut, to the market. That's what we want to do. In fact, that was what we wanted to do, but because of this COVID-19, is now making us to, to plan and see the need. There's a huge need for it because of a lot of cry out death, a lot of blood, and a lot of waste, and a lot of farmers don't have access because of the shutdown and shortage of food here and there. So we want to plug in where the existing and live food grocery stores can plug in and connect with the farmers or with the food processors or with the food suppliers. So we are test running that this week. So by the grace of God, I think next week, before the end of this month, we are going to launch it. So that's why we are pushing that those that have products should sign up so that we can easily connect them to their local, depending on where they are residing, the countries they are residing in. So I want to show you how it looks like, how the One Agrics platform is going to look like once you register your products. Okay, this is this is a company that I've registered on our platform and is doing cocoa. So you can see this is a company in Lagos here. What they do is they do cocoa powder, they do soya beans powder, soya beans flour, cocoa powder. This is what they produce. So this is the CEO of the company and his team in front of their company. So this is how your product is going to look like. Understand? Here, the name of your company name, is either the business owner's name or the person that is going to be managing this, then the company address. Understand? So here, once you have your certification, here the buyers can browse by category. Here you get your message from vendors, that is the buyers. So I'm going to show you another one that has, you can see, is, so once buyer comes, they want to look at, okay, certificates, as in by certificate. You understand? This is by raw material. These are the classification, food classification I was talking about on our platform. So you have beverages, you have dairy, dried and dehydrated foods, snacks, edible fat and oil, raw honey. These are food ingredients. These are raw materials, raw agricultural produce. These are supplements. So you can see everything is classified here. So if you click any of these, it takes you to the category of the products. You can see these are some products on the platform. So if you go to okay, cocoa beverages, so you go here, you see products. So here, once you upload your product, this is how it's going to look like on the platform. So this product is from, I think it's from Ghana, raw organic cocoa butter. So you click on it, the buyer clicks on it, and it goes to cart like that, or you contact the supplier. So as a buyer, it's either you contact the supplier, or already once you've already contacted the supplier, you just go to cart and you buy, you get a notification on the product. So once once your product is on the platform, it gives you your product visibility, market visibility, both local and international. You understand? This is cashew, raw cashew. You understand? So this is how the platform, looks like, and all the categories of, if you are going to be contacting, checking by certification. It just goes, if your certificate was there, it will just show you that this product is already certified by this. So we'll be having other certification here, NAFDAC, um, HACP, HAACP. So we'll be having so many other certifications here that once, and even ordinary lab certification, so that once the buyer is able to check based on certification. He sees the products that have already uploaded their certification on the platform. So I hope we all understand. We all see. Let's see. So these are some of the products on the platform right now. So these are the buyers. Easy. So any question? Any further question before we close for today? There's no further question. I hope I've been able to. We understand all what I've said so far, and I've been able to explain better some of the key and important steps we need to take as food supplier in the agro space. Yes. Okay. Let me check that. Yes. So if you look at it, that video showed us how they've been able to move their products to this. I wanted to show you something. This is what we call food waste compost, and that's why I said in whatever we are producing as food supplier or food producers, we should look at see how we could generate or as in zero waste in terms of what, and many of us should know that most of the food input, the food, especially the raw, it's able to generate two things, which is now becoming an in thing, which is fertilizer and gas. So from all food waste, we are able to generate fertilizer and gas, which also goes back into the production line as a farmer. If you are if you are having a farm, so and if you are not having a farm, it goes to the processing for gas. So this is that's the video, and I hope we enjoy the class, enjoy the meeting. Tomorrow we'll talk about this. We'll be talking about keeping records and funding, how we can prepare ourselves to access different kind of funding. So thank you very much for joining the class. And yesterday, sorry, please put your emails to get the slide for this presentation. Yesterday, I couldn't get the email, so please just send your name, your email, your company name, so that I can send this slide and also follow up with you on how you can sign up to One Agris. Thank you.